You know, for years, Southeast Michigan has not been able to agree on a regional transit system. Now a proposal is on the ballot that would be the beginning of a large and coordinated effort to connect Southeast Michigan. Here's a look at how voters think about transit in our area.
Are you going to vote?
Yes, I'm voting. They had the trolley, the trains, and all that, but I think it's a good thing.
Suddenly they find money to do it again. I don't understand it.
We live like in Monroe, but it'd be nice if there was a bus to take or a transit to get all the way in here instead of driving.
Once it's done, are my children going to be able to afford it? That's one thing I need to know.
What can you accomplish now you couldn't accomplish then?
When there is more public transit and more money for it, it will eventually draw people.
If it's $7 each way, there's no way that I'm going to be able to afford that.
Do you think that'll help mend any of the racial and economic divides between the suburbs and the city of Detroit?
I doubt it because it goes deep into transportation. So, who knows?
I think it's a way to further separate those that are economically privileged and those that aren't.
Unless the divisions, class divisions, racial divisions have something to do with it.
They're doing it not for schooling. They can be educated with the different race.
It would help people maybe come from the suburbs to the city. I just don't know how much people go from the city to the suburbs unless they're working.
But that's to be determined, I guess, when this stuff is done.
Joining me now to take a look at the RTA proposal on the ballot is Tiffany Gunter, the Deputy CEO of the Regional Transit Authority, and Leon Drolet, who is with the group NoMassiveTransitTax.org. You know, Tiffany, I've always said that Detroit built mass transit a long time ago. It's called freeways. We've probably got more freeways anywhere else in the country, and we move a lot of people around on those freeways every day. But you say we've come to the point where that's no longer good enough if we hope to be a growing competitive region. What's the case for this new transit tax, and what will the money be used for?
Absolutely. So you can't build yourself out of congestion. That's something that we've seen in major metropolitan areas across the nation. And the case for rapid transit or regional transit is so strong because right now we have 92% of the jobs in this region cannot be reached in under an hour using the existing public transit options that are available. And what the RTA plan does, it connects up these communities in a realistic way that maximizes efficient use of the system and connects seniors and people with disabilities to having independence and connects people to jobs and entertainment and everything that you need to live life.
And Leon, you're fighting that proposal. This would put a lot more buses on the road, hopefully take people out of cars and out of parking lots. What is wrong with that idea?
Well, first, experience shows that doesn't work. In communities that are outside of the congested East Coast pre-car communities like Washington, D.C. and New York, people aren't getting on mass transit no matter how much more money is dumped into it. This proposal will actually make transportation commuting worse in Metro Detroit because part of the plan is to close lanes on major roads like Woodward, Gratiot, Michigan Avenue, close lanes to make bus-only lanes that'll congest cars into fewer lanes and make it harder to get around. Plus, Metro Detroit is not Washington, D.C. It is not New York. It is a spread out community. There's no evidence that if you build it, they will come. We look at that now. The millage for mass transit doubled in 2014, well, almost doubled, went from 0.69 mils to a mil, and ridership dropped in the subsequent years by 300,000 rides.
Okay, now, Tiffany, when you talk about what this system will do, it's designed to move within the region, isn't it? And will it serve 90% of people in this region, as to Leon's point, don't ride a bus. Will this system encourage them to get on the bus for their daily commute?
Absolutely. So what we have here is a self-fulfilling prophecy. The system doesn't go beyond jurisdictional boundaries. What we've seen across the nation is that when a system is truly connected regionally, over the last 10 years, 20% increases in ridership, and you can find that on the American Public Transportation Association website. Increases in ridership are connected to increases in reliability, frequency, safety, and all those things are included in the RTA plan. We also have park and rides associated with those lanes. And just to address what Mr. DeLay has said about destroying traffic, Michigan Department of Transportation sits on every one of our advisory committees, and they don't allow that to happen. You have to keep a certain level of service. And with BRT systems, bus rapid transit systems, you can keep flowing with the vehicle because you have signal preemption. It actually improves travel for people in their automobiles.
Now, Leon, one of the concerns I've had about this proposal is, we're already paying a smart tax in this region. People in Detroit already pay to fund DDOT, and now we're going to have yet a third tax to fund a third authority. What is your confidence level that we'll be able to coordinate these three systems into one cohesive transportation system?
Well, I think they will be able to coordinate things, but there's no reason they needed $4.7 billion to have a bus cross 8 Mile Road. I mean, that's an outrageous assessment that it takes billions of dollars to have a bus cross a road. And when we have a situation like in Detroit, for example, there's a city ordinance that prohibits SMART from dropping off a passenger or picking up a passenger in the city. That bureaucracy has been the problem. It hasn't been really the lack of resources. It's been a lack of willingness to coordinate those resources. And doubling the money after the service we got is not working.
Thanks. One last question, Tiffany. We got Lyft, got Uber, all sorts of these mobility options coming, going to get bigger in the future. Do we still need buses? Are buses going to be relevant in the new mobility future?
Emphatically, yes. You have to have a foundation for those systems to work. Uber will tell you themselves they need a strong foundation to carry people using their newer technology. So the foundation has to be there. That's what makes New York and Chicago hum with Uber and Lyft.
And if it doesn't pass this time, what happens?
I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a long time before this opportunity and this momentum comes back again. So we do urge people to vote yes on regional transit.
Okay, Christy, thank you guys, and back to you.